Welcome back if you're returning. Today we're going to be looking at thrifted items that are used as storage. We've got makeovers, we've got things that I use around the house, and it's really easy to organise and take control of your spaces using thrifted items. If you put your thinking cap on and you look outside the box, there are so many things that can be used to create useful, unusual, and in some cases beautiful bespoke storage. So come along with me, see what I use, how I use my storage, and stick around at the end for my lampshade makeovers. Let's get started. Charging station is something that I've wanted to do for a very long time. I ended up picking up this old cutlery box for $2. Sometimes they're quite expensive. This was perfect because it didn't have any of the little fittings inside. So if you can find one like this, it's ideal. So this was $2. What I'm going to do is I'm going to retrofit it so that I can fit when I'm charging my phones, my watches, everything. It's all on the counter, out of the way. But it's compact, everything is kept in this box and we always know where everything is. This is the bar that I picked up. I think I got this from Canadian Tire. I'll put a link in the description for the one that I got. I've had this for a while. We had them in a basket, just wasn't working. I wanted something on the countertop, and as I said, this was perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill into the side and make a slot for the cord to fit in. I'm going to glue that charging bar inside the box. I'm going to cover the box and then I'm going to add a few things inside it just to hold all the cords. So the material that I'm using, it's like a lining, cupboard lining paper. I thrifted this in a little roll a couple of years ago for 50 cents. It's not quite material, but it's got like a material feel to it. So you can see I've put it with using Mod Podge. I've put it on the top surface. I'm trying to even out as many of the creases as possible and get it quite smooth. I'm not going to do the back, I'm doing the sides and the front. I'm also going to add a little handle to the front so it's easy to pick up and down. So as you can see here, it's stuck on. And I've got rid of all the bubbles. Next I'm going to stick this paper again with the Mod Podge on all the outside surfaces. Once it's done, I'm going to give it a quick coat of Mod Podge because it's going to be on the countertop. I don't want anything to ruin it should things get spilt on it, so we're doing the side. And again, you can see it's so straightforward. I'm just putting the Mod Podge down, putting the paper down, and then I've just gone over it afterwards with a little blade and trimmed any extra. I've covered all the surfaces and the little rim on the inside at the bottom also. So what I've done here is I've taken a drill bit and I've drilled 6 holes, 3 on the right hand side, 3 on the left hand side, and then I've drilled down through those 6 holes, and then I've used a little blade just to cut the shape out. You can see there what I did. I just did it on the one side. I was going to do it on that side, but then realised there's a little switch on the power bar that I need to go upright, so I had to swap the sides. So that's what I've done. I've drilled it and then used a blade, a utility blade to cut it out. I refilled the side that I made the mistake in just with hot glue, just so that everything fits flat when I put the paper on. And then all the cords, I finished them off with some extra paper, sanded it down a little bit, and just made it all nice and tidy for the cord to fit in there once it's finished. The power bar is glued to that back piece upright so that it's easily accessible. This way the plugs can go in and you have the area of the actual box, as opposed to when it's upside down it would be able to close the lid. So this way everything fits better and you can close the lid, everything's out of the way and just charging. Once that was done, I covered everything in one last coat of the Mod Podge just to seal everything and make it waterproof, and it's ready to go. So the box was thrifted for $2. The pegs were part of a set I got for 50 cents. I just hot glued them to the inside of the lid of the box, and this is then I just put the Mod Podge, the little pieces of paper onto them. This is to hold the extra cords. The little handle was one I had already from the kitchen cabinets. I would like to put a different handle on it, but if I find one I'll use that. Then you have a complete box full of all your cords, all their little accessories. It's contained and out of the way. I can move this from room to room if I want to, but if I want to leave it in the kitchen, everything is in one place and safe. So I'm really pleased with how this turned out. Now this tasteful tea caddy, as I call it, I thrifted this many years ago. It is one of the favourite items I've had, and I only pull it out when I have a lot of tea. I found a tea brand that I'm really liking at the moment, so there's a lot of it. This is when I use this tea caddy. You can see it is so ornate, it is so beautiful. I just give it a quick polish every now and again. There's etched glass, there's twigs and silver plate, there's shields, there's holly, there's ivy, there's oak leaves. It is gorgeous. And again, it holds my tea and it is perfect for it. The hinge, it's a hinged lid, so it keeps everything fresh. You could use this anywhere. And I think at the time I paid maybe $5 for this, so it was something a little special, but I knew that I would use this all the time and I would keep it with me. I absolutely love this. You could put anything in it. You could put food in it. You could put, because it's glass, you could put anything. Beside it is another little thrifted glass container that I have with a little handle on it. This probably used for condiments. I put my little teaspoons in it, and then this was a recent purchase. I think it's 50 cents. Again, I just put little tea bags in it and it is perfect at my tea station, and it's so pretty to look at. So that is one of my good old. This is another beauty. Had this a few years as well. I think this was about $5. You just couldn't find them now, not for this price. I keep it in the kitchen under my cabinet, and it is full of the linens that I use on a regular basis. Now I have lots of different linens, napkins, tablecloths, and I keep a lot of them upstairs, but this is the stuff that I use regularly, and it is beautiful. Now I gave this a really good clean out when I bought it because it was rather musty, but this is a really lovely old suitcase. It's all leather. It's well travelled. There's a lot I want to do with this, but I think that's going to come up in an upcoming video. I have big plans for it. Like I said, I've had it for a long time. It sits in the kitchen under the cabinet and it is in beautiful condition. It's all working, the straps, the little locks. Like I said, somebody travelled from Jamaica many years ago with this, and I wonder what it would tell us if it could tell us its story. Again, another one of my favourite finds. I've always had linens in it, but possibilities are endless with this one. Hat boxes and boxes of any shape and size are always good. This is a little one that I've picked up again quite a while ago. It's just a little wooden box. I think it was probably used for recipe cards. I keep my vitamin C packages in there. Again, it takes up hardly any space. Everything fits perfectly right on the countertop, ready every day. Another great thing with these hat boxes that I found, again, they're decorative boxes that were based on a hat box design, but you do still see hat boxes around. These are great. They're very sturdy. They're decorative, so they're pretty no matter where you put them. I've got barrettes in the smaller one. I've got, this is difficult to do with one hand. These are all the little crystals from my chandeliers. I keep a lot of them in this little box, but I find them extremely handy in my craft room, laundry room upstairs. I have them on the top of the cabinets, and I keep stuff in that I don't use every day. Clearly marked, out of the way, looks really pretty. Always good to have on hand. You know exactly where everything is. And of course, baskets are always great. I keep pillows, extra pillows in the ones here on the cabinet. Baskets are a no-brainer. Everybody should always collect baskets. That's what I think. This one in particular I've had for a long time. You just don't see them like this anymore, or if you do, they are very expensive. This again would have been a couple of dollars. I've had it at least 2 or 3 years. It's lined, so it's great to keep valuables in it. These are my swap outs for my seasonal items. So I keep like Halloween, little bits of Halloween, Valentine's, etc. I've got my lampshades from year round. I've got my Christmas ones up still, but everything is quite handy there. I know where it is, and I know it's safe and not being stored away anywhere that I'm not aware of. So that's always handy. In the bathroom upstairs, I have storage above the closet, and there it always looks so nice. I've got a basket with extra blankets in, and then I've got my sewing notions that I don't use all the time in these other decorative baskets. Now I know where they are when I need them. In the meantime, they look just great, natural, functional on the top of the closet. I also have my other baskets that I keep linens in. I've got the one set up in one of the extra bedrooms, and it's perfect. It looks lovely, almost a bedside table the way I've got it, but I know exactly where everything is, and it just looks so nice. I have baskets everywhere. You still see these around. Again, the prices have gone up a little bit. I keep these under the cabinet in my downstairs bathroom, and as you can see, this is all the storage we have in there, and it's not brilliant. I keep all my hair appliances and dryers in the one, and then all the extra little pieces like makeup, cleaning products, things like that in the other. They are so handy. They just back and forth fit directly under this space. Perfect. Again, you could use them anywhere in the house. This is something that I've just changed out. This little Fortnum & Mason basket is one of my favourites. Baskets are always, like I said, they're fantastic, especially if they've got a lid, but you can make lids for them. I've done this on many occasions, and I'm going to show you with this oval basket that I thrifted for a couple of dollars. I picked this up for $1. You can see it's a nice basket. It's quite deep. I was going to put my toilet rolls in it, but I ended up swapping it over. But I did want a lid for it. So what I do under normal circumstances, and like I said, I've done this before in some of my earlier videos when I did the bedroom, I get a piece of substantial cardboard, or in this case I've got foam board, and it has to fit above, obviously, because it's going to fit down on top of the basket. So I draw around the shape of the basket, add a little bit more so that I know that this is going to fit, because there has to be a rim that's glued to the lid, and it just has to go and fit over the basket. So it's got to be bigger than the basket, the circumference of the basket. So here I'm just marking the one side on the lid, and I'm going to mark my lid the same so that I know the way I've drawn around, it's going to fit corresponding with the shape, if you know what I mean. It's like when you're cutting a pumpkin, you put like a little notch so you know where it's going to fit on. Well, that's kind of what I've done here. You can see it's a little bit bigger than the circumference, because what I have to do is I'm cutting strips that are going to go around. This is going to hold the lid in place, and then those have to be glued on, so it has to fit big enough to fit on top. The next step is to cut strips that are going to be glued onto the lid of the box, which is going to cause it, which is actually going to make the lid. So I've measured how deep I want my sides of the lid to be. I could have gone a little bit shallower, I think, but I just wanted to make sure it fit. And I'm cutting enough length to fit the circumference of the basket to make the lid fit perfectly. So I've cut the strips, and you can see here it's this easy to bend it. What you want it to do in this case, because it's an oval box, you need to manipulate the foam board so that it has a natural curve in it, and then you're going to stick this directly onto the lid, and it's going to follow the curve perfectly. It's quite pliable and it looks great when it's finished. You are going to have to join pieces together, but because of the way this foam board works, it's great. You don't it joins perfectly. So we're just going to run a bead of glue along one of the sides, and then you're going to place it on your disc that you've already cut, and just follow the outside curve, and you're going to do this all the way around. Once it's all done, I just went over it with a quick blade just to clean it up a little bit so that it fits perfectly. It's so easy to do because this foam cord cuts so easily. You can see now I'm putting the lid on the box to make sure it fits, and it's a little big, so all I do is add a couple of little extra pieces at the joins to reinforce the join and also give us a snugger fit on the box lid. The next step is to decorate or cover the lid. This is the wallpaper that I left over from the bathroom, and because this is going in the bathroom, that's why I'm using this. When the last ones that I made the storage boxes for our bedroom, I used the wallpaper that was in there, but you can use wrapping paper, tissue, anything. You could even paint this. I find using the wallpaper, because it's a little thicker, it covers all the little imperfections, but it just looks great. It's a great finish. Okay, so I use hot glue for this, because this paper that I have here, it's a really good quality, it's quite thick, and wallpaper paste or Mod Podge, anything like that, won't work on the foam core. It just doesn't work. I've tried it before. So the hot glue is what I've been using. It does the job perfectly, and it sticks very, very well. Now, I'd had some black velvet ribbon, so I just stuck it all the way around the circumference just to give it a little bit of a detail, and I just slotted this little loop through the top so that you can pull the lid off and pop the lid on top, and it fits perfectly, and it again goes lovely in the bathroom. I've swapped this out for my makeup, and the other box contains the toilet rolls. It's nothing to do with storage, but this is the lampshade makeover to match my headboard that I did just before Christmas. I picked these lampshades up for 50 cents each. They were a bit shabby and a bit of a mess, but once I tore everything off them, they were going to be perfect. I gave them a quick clean, and they were the perfect size and the perfect foundation for my shabby chic cottagecore lampshades. Now, I had, if you remember the headboard, I made it out of an old quilt. The quilt had one pillowcase, so I took the pillowcase apart and then I tore it to pieces. Literally, I tore it to pieces. I stripped it down to the panels, so I put a little slit for every blue panel and then a little slit for every floral panel, and I just tore them up. And then what I did was I frayed the edges on all these little strips of material. I folded them in half so that I didn't waste any, and they fit the size of the lampshade, and then I started gluing. So I was looking for that sort of shabby chic cottagecore look, and that's exactly the look that I got with these lovely strips of fabric. It's like a cotton, and this is like a Laura Ashley print, very English cottage. And again with the frayed edges, it lends itself beautifully to these little lampshades. So again with the glue gun, just tuck the bottom, glued them all into place. You can see this is what I was saying about cutting them in half. I had enough in each strip to do 2 panels. So first of all I cut the floral panels and glued them into place, and then what I was left with were little spaces between, and that's what I did with my blue stripe panels. I went over the top, and it gave me a consistent look that matched the headboard in the same material. You can see here is exactly what I'd done. So I went with the floral panels first, and then went over the top with the blue stripe panel. And then once this was all glued into place, I took my scissors and trimmed the inside and of the top and the bottom, and then I added a little bit of trim from the pillowcase to the top and the bottom. Once that was done, to finish it off, the pillowcase had a beautiful little scalloped edge all the way around. So all I did was cut that up and folded it around the bottom of each of the lampshades. So I took a beginning point, glued it in that spot, and then stretched it so it was nice and taut, and it almost gave it a natural curl around the bottom of the lampshade. I didn't have enough to do the top, so what I did was I just took some extra material, doubled it up, glued it on, and Bob's your uncle, funny's your aunt. I now have really pretty cottage core lampshades that match my headboard, and it looks so nice in there. I'm so pleased with it, and it literally cost me $1. So again, another bargain thrift haul. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for sticking with me right till the end of the video, and I hope you enjoyed my storage solutions, and we'll see you next week for more thrifting.